Hello and welcome to this night's episode of Animal World Live with me, Brent Leo-Smith, and the rest of the Painted Dog TV team here in the beautiful Rietsbraet Game Reserve in Limpopo, South Africa. We've got a fun, fact-filled show for you tonight. Welcome back. Great to have everyone here. I'm just going to do a quick few hellos. See what we've got here. Bush Baby, G-Wagon, Cougar Man, Jordan, Applehead, Rob, Redstone Prime, TJS, Widget, Misty Stokes, Dov, G-Wagon, and Julie. So far, I'm sure there's quite a few people I missed, but welcome to the Wednesday night. It is Wednesday. Yes, it is. Animal World Live out here in the bush. We get a bit confused from time to time about which day it is and what the date is, which is not a bad problem to have. And just before we delve into the show, happy Earth Day to everyone. And we will be discussing Earth Day a little bit later in the show. So very exciting day, a very important day in the greater context of the conservation sphere and bringing awareness to different problems that are facing our Mother Earth at the moment. Hello Susan. Now, of course, as I said, we've had quite a bit of rain, so the live bush cams here on the Rietsbraet Game Reserve have been a little bit quiet. But however, towards town, at where Critter Cam is, there has been a little bit less rain. So we've been getting some interesting sightings from there, but we will get back to that a little bit later. Let's just see. Firebird's saying that the audio is a bit funny. Okay, so apparently there's an audio problem, so stand by, we're going to restart the stream. Let me know. Let me know when we're live. Hello, are we back? Let me know, guys, if we're back. Are we back? Melinda, hi, Betty, Melinda, perfect. Okay, seems like everything has been sorted. Well done, Vian. Okay, it seems like the sound issue. Hello, Mars. Hello, Misty. Danny, thumbs up. Melinda. Yeah, we're back. Yes, nomadic landings. Chris, that's a lot better. Live is good. G-Wagon, Cat 3, smiley face. Hello. So, as I said, today is Earth Day. And there's quite a lot of information flowing around, but we will discuss about that a little bit later. So we were chatting a little bit about our live cams, and for those of you who might be joining us for the first time, at the moment we have 6 cameras spread through the African bush that broadcast 24 hours a day live, and you can go check those out after the show on our other YouTube channel, which is Live Bush Cams by Painted Dog TV. And they catch all sorts of wonderful critters, big and small, and we're going to be expanding those cameras as soon as lockdown's over, and hopefully we're going to be getting one that's going to have a lot of elephant action on it, which is very, very exciting. Okay, now speaking of the live bush cams, as I said, we've had quite a lot of rain here in the Rietsbraet, but towards town, Hoedspruit, in the wildlife estate where we're normally based out of, hasn't had so much rain, so the critter cam's been getting lots of visitors. There we go, a lovely little genet, probably hunting more than coming for a drink, so our little pond does attract lots of frogs. Ooh, a white tip to the tail. Who can tell me which genet that is? So you can answer while we get there. So there's a little genet, probably coming to look for frogs or insects that are attracted by the water. We do get them quite often around the critter cam. Now, of course, there is no white light there. That's why you're seeing it in black and white, so infrared. And there we go. Now you can see the tail clearly. Oh, quite an old genet if you probably look at its ears. Got some nice little nicks in there. Looks like a little female. But there we go. There we go. Hello, thank you, Yvonne. The best tail. Dov, the difference between civets and genets, quite a lot. Genets are quite a lot bigger. Sorry, did I say genets or civets? Oh, I meant to say civets. Civets a lot bigger. There we go. Jordan, spot on. It is indeed a small spotted with a white tipped to the tail. So a civet can actually probably stand about this tall. A big civet. And a genet probably only about this tall. And about this long. Civets are just much bigger. Genets are also quite arboreal, so they spend quite a bit of the time in trees, and hunting trees, and will sleep often in trees. As though I say, someone mentioned Janet Jackson, or Kitty Kitty Bang Bang. Janet Jackson was a genet we used to see quite frequently on Safari Live while I was there. Hello Mary, hello Shadow Ghost. Shadow Ghost, who is the neighbouring male lion? This is the Blue Canyon Conservancy's male lion, is the next door lion to us. Oh, there we go. So Guillaume's going to key up a civet just for you there. So look, you can see how much bigger the civet is, and look at their coloration as well. So probably closer to the Northern Hemisphere raccoon is the best way to describe what a civet is. They are omnivores. They eat quite a lot of fruits. They love jackalberry fruits, and they do eat marulas occasionally, but they also eat scorpions and millipedes, and one of the few mammals that eats millipedes out here. And of course the genets are probably less omnivorous, although they will eat fruit from time to time, and more carnivorous, feeding on little rodents, geckos, skinks, snakes, and of course quite a lot of insects will also make up their diet. Applehead Rob, when the female cubs become sexually mature, won't there be danger of incest if their fathers are still the dominant males? And what is the name of their coalition? Yes, of course, that is a major problem in the smaller fenced reserves. So what will happen is, and also the thing is that they will kill the male, which is old BB, Bucket's brother. So when Bucket's brother gets to sexual maturity, he will undertake a journey, and he'll be moved, thank you Rosemary, off to another reserve, where he will then start the process of becoming the dominant male there. Now, however, for now, in the Rietspraat Reserve, there will be the females will all be put onto contraception for a couple of years. So yes, so that will stop the incest between the lions here. Hello Marcy, you're not late, don't worry. Orelav civet coffee. Well, civet coffee is actually from a different type of civet. It's a palm civet. Charles, the dogs are playing, making a bit of growling noises. If you hear that, it's just the two dogs having a good time. And Charles was just stopping them. Chloe is giving us a good look. Okay, so there we go. That was for Applehead Rob. Have you had any good night drives? We have had some good night drives, and on one of those night drives is when we encountered a very interesting, very large insect, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Liz, will predators prey on genets? Yes, indeed. Generally not out of opportunity. Leopards in the Kalahari Desert have been known to feed on genets quite frequently, but again, birds of prey will take them if they're out in the open, and as well as probably, well, leopards as most one, birds of prey, owls, Varro's eagle owl might take them, and if they're caught out in the open during the day, martial eagles, tawny eagles, any of the bigger eagles. It'll just stop the cubs, it won't stop the mating. Oh, Tom got his Shongile t-shirt today. Well done, Tom. Rosalind, how many lions do we have at the moment? We have the 3 adult males in the coalition name. They are the Rietspraat male lions. And so the 3 adult males, 2 adult females, and then we have, how many cubs? 6 cubs, and 5 of them are female, and only 1 is male. Can lions survive in the European wilderness? That is very interesting. That is an interesting question. Historically, they did. They would never have occurred in the numbers that they do out in Africa, just generally because temperate climates are not great for temperate climates are not great for the large herbivores to be in large numbers, and lions like to eat large herbivores. So when their lions did occur in Europe, the pride sizes would have been smaller, the territories would have been larger. But yes, in theory, lions could survive. They've become extinct in relatively recent terms, if you look at evolution, in Europe, and mostly due to people hunting them out. Pam loved the lion steal the camera video. Yes, it was such a fun one. Yes, and of course, Betty B, a lot of the nocturnal animals do have quite big eyes. Sorry, I've lost my little page here that I need. And we had another very interesting visitor to the Critter Cam recently, and this was of the feathered kind, and I think this is the first time we've caught this particular species of bird so close up. There we go, being inspected by what was previously called a red-billed wood hoopoe, now called a green wood hoopoe, and probably not so interested in the camera, more likely foraging around the wood that the camera is placed in to stop the warthogs wiping their muddy bottoms on it. So probably looking for different insects and that, or spiders in amongst the wood that houses the camera. Okay, so as I said, Critter Cam's been the one. We've even had some of our bigger visitors on the wildlife estate visiting, and I think this is the first time we've caught this particular large male antelope on the Critter Cam. So here we go, a nice big kudu bull coming to have a drink at Critter Cam. Here we go, isn't that amazing? Nice low down version of a male kudu drinking. And of course at Critter Cam, our most common visitors, as always, is of the pork variety, and it wouldn't be a Critter Cam highlight reel without a visit from a warthog, getting ready to muddy up what's left and enjoy a good spa day. Oh yes, doesn't that look lovely? He almost thinks like he almost thinks someone's watching him. He almost looks like he's looking into camera. And not too much of a spa day, just a quick one while it was quite hot. And of course, who's still out? Let's see if there's any update. Closing down. Pam, I did not see the video of a huge kudu bull lying and eating grass in someone's yard in Pretoria. I'll have a look out for that. As I say, we've been out quite a lot. We've been spending quite a lot of time with Mabai and the two girls. Since yesterday morning, we've been spending almost every drive with them. They're about 2.5-3 kilometers to the north of where I'm sitting at the moment. So I haven't been watching too much social media at the moment. Rosemary says it always feels like someone is watching me. Okay. Now, of course, on these shows, I'm not always the only person you see. And it is time for the Brian catch-up. Hi, Brian.
Hello, Brent. Hello, everybody.
So everyone can say hello to Brian.
It's good to be back in the hot seat.
It is indeed. Yes. And today it's all about things with leaves and bark and roots.
Absolutely. And pods and flowers and stems and everything else. Yes.
Yes, all plants have flowers. Some people just don't know what they look like. Actually, thinking about that, what's cambium, Brian?
Cambium? You really want to put me on the spot?
Yes, I do. Let's do it. What is the cambium layer of a tree?
Well, I think I should ask the crowd for this.
No.
There's no 50-50.
There's no 50-50. There's no phone a friend.
Oh, jeez. I have my...
Well, I'll let you think about it for a while.
If you can, you can phone Charles.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if Charles knows what the cambium layer is.
No, he doesn't.
Oh.
It's there underneath the bark that carries the
Casey is shouting from the corner.
Is it the layer underneath the bark that carries all the nutrients to the leaves?
From the roots to the leaves,
From the roots to the leaves.
the zyme and the flow.
The zyme and the flow. There we go. Wow.
I have no words.
Yo, well done, Brian.
Gee, I know. It just
VM just said in my ear, it's elephant salad.
it just came to me.
Yes, it came to you via a hippie in the bedroom over there. Okay, there we go. Everyone's answering for you there. Janet saying the inner layer that carries the nutrients.
The illies eat cambium on the bark. Thanks,
Yes, yeah. Who wants to be a safari millionaire? Redstone Prime says. Yes, that is the cambium. But other than that, we've pretty much been spending most of our time with the Cheetah for the last couple of days, tracking her for a good couple of hours yesterday morning.
Yeah.
And then yesterday afternoon, this morning, and this afternoon.
Yeah.
Have all been with Mabai.
And they've been getting quite habituated to us. You know, we're getting a little bit closer to the vehicle. You know.
Well, they had a wonderful playing session this morning where they're centimeters from the car, and you're going to have to wait to see that type of footage for Tale of Two Mothers, which will be coming out on Sunday. I know a lot of people have been asking. Sorry, Vim, time? 8 a.m. 8 p.m. Central African time on Sunday. Okay, so Brian.
Yes.
So you had 20, how many trees was it?
23.
23.
Yeah.
And you're going to do 3 tonight?
Yes.
Randomly chosen by me?
No.
I didn't tell you that one. Yeah.
No, please don't do that.
Okay, no, we'll let you choose the trees.
Okay, so...
What is the first tree, Brian?
The first one I think is quite apt, is the first one that I encountered quite aggressively when I got here, and that is the Ziziphus macronata. Macronatum, with an M, which is the buffalo thorn, or in Afrikaans a wachabikkie, which is Afrikaans for wait a little bit, because as...
Go fetch one. There's one right here. Go fetch a branch.
Okay,
Then we can go talk about it. Let's go fetch a branch.
You can still tell us the facts.
Is he going to come back with the branch? Let's see. We might hear, ow, ooh, ah. Where's he go? He's got his knife with him. Does he have his knife with him?
Bare hands.
Bare hands?
Oh,
He's got one. Well done.
well done.
Hello, Al.
Okay, here we go. So this is a wachabikkie, and I love the Afrikaans name because it indicates when you get hooked on these thorns, they go backwards.
In this way for the camera. There, so you can see the hooked ones. There.
Yeah, they go down and up. And
Do you want some more light there, Zander?
Yeah, you can put your hand behind it.
Behind it.
Oh.
And so when you get caught, it takes a while, so you just have to wait a little bit, soos in Afrikaans wachabikkie, before you get out. And it's a devilish plant, but has lots of cultural significance in African cultures. One of them is the tree of life, because you can see that the branch goes zigzags up, indicating that life is not always so straight, and the thorns go backwards and forwards, looking at our path forward and our path backwards. So it's my favorite, actually, I'd have to admit, even though I've been hooked thousands of times.
He got absolutely ripped apart on one of our camera installations.
Yes, my arms, my legs were just covered in these thorns, and it took weeks before I could get all of them out. But it's a wonderful plant. And another very big pro for me is as I said earlier, the African significance, because when a person dies away from home,
it's only for Zulu.
Only for Zulu.
Yeah. Or and Xhosa.
Okay. They have to travel to that. Can you help me out?
So to where the grave is of the person if they've died far away from home.
Okay, and they'd have to take a branch like this with them.
Normally a bit of bigger branch, but yeah.
Okay. And on the journey to that site.
No, on the journey to it, it's nothing. It's just a branch.
Okay, on the journey back.
Yeah. So then you would take it. You place it on the grave, and the hook catches the spirit.
Catches the spirit.
Carry on now.
Okay. And there's a superstitious belief that this tree protects you from lightning.
Well, you got to finish you've got to finish the Zulu story first. So the hook catches the spirit, and then you've got to take it.
Oh, and then you've got to take it back to the burial site, and on the way back, the branch gets its own seat in the mode of transport.
Yeah, you have to pay for a ticket and buy food
and it's a very, very.
And then when it's put down, the straight thorn releases the spirit to the ancestral home of that family.
That's right. Okay.
There we go. Now carry on.
Okay. As I was saying, it has a belief that it will protect people from lightning, and if you cut one down on your farm, it's said that you will be plagued by lightning, hail, and drought. So it's very
lightning, hail, and drought.
And drought, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so not just lightning.
Oh, I know, longhorn.
So this is actually a very peculiar plant. Lots of people would shy away from it because of these thorns, and even looking at it makes me a little bit nervous. But once you get up close and you feel it and you actually connect with it, you do kind of feel the significance, which I enjoy. The second tree, which I'll be speaking about, is the Scotia brachypetala. Is it
Brachypetala?
Brachypetala. I've been going through that forever. And that's commonly known as the weeping boerbean, which is behind us.
Where's
just
my
out of
torch?
shot there. We do not have a torch.
What is that? There's something there. Is it in the badger?
Well, this tree is also...
you keep talking about the tree. I want to see what animal's behind me.
So forgive me if I mispronounce some of the Greek Latin terms, because obviously I don't speak Greek and Latin is a dead language, so it's quite difficult for me to pronounce. But Scotia brachypetala, weeping boerbean, and the name Scotia comes from a man called Richard van der Schot, who was the head gardener of the Imperial Gardens in Vienna in 1819. So he named it, the first part. Second part, the species name, Brachypetala. It's one of 4 species. The other 3 are Afra. I've been practicing. I don't have notes of this. Capitala.
It's the only 2 we get here is Brachypetala and Capitala.
Okay, and the third one is I'm gonna hurt myself. No, you'd have to help me.
No, it's a Angolan species. I can't remember either.
Okay.
So the only 2 we get here is Capitata and Brachypetala. The dwarf and the weeping.
Okay. And the reason it's called a weeping boerbean is that the flowers produce an excess of pollen.
No. Nectar.
Okay, and it overflows, and that gives the perception of it crying and weeping. So I initially thought it was the leaves sagging down, which you could kind of infer from that, but on close inspection, actually it's the nectar seeping from the flowers. And for the life of me, I've forgotten every single use of that tree.
Okay, well we'll have to remind you later. Let's go on. What's tree number 3?
Terminalia sericea.
Cool.
Is that it? And that tree is the silver cluster leaf. Also got quite a bit of cultural significance with sangomas and witch doctors in a lot of African cultures. And it's Terminalia. The first part is actually both the genus and the species name are Greek. Sometimes they're both Latin. I mean this one is both Latin.
Yes.
Sorry. So Terminalia, Latin, meaning the termination of the branch, and you can see at the end of every branch there's a leaf, and that means
a single leaf.
Not a double or...
Well, in this case, yes, but it can.
Okay.
It can whirl as well. But
okay. Yeah. And then sericea means that the cluster it's a densely packed cluster of silver hairs on the bottom part of the leaf. So it gives that like soft, cushiony carpet feel. And it's actually very distinctive. This is one of the trees that I find very easily to identify. it's not like a all the combretums or the, the scotia.
I haven't even got to Criviers with you yet.
No, please, not yet. And this is an extremely hardwood, so termite and ant-resistant, used for making wagons, wagon wheels. It was furniture, mortars, poles, and I think Brent actually made his entire camp in Tanzania.
Well, the whole main area, all the big beams and stuff, and the main poles for the camp in the Salou was made out of Terminalia.
Amazing. And I tried to make a walking stick out of one.
Where's your walking stick?
It's back at home.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's very difficult to work with. Very hard, not very easy to.
Yeah, it's not a whittling wood.
No, not at all.
Okay.
So yeah, Coach, what would you give me out of 100 for now?
I'm going to keep quiet. I'm going to have to wait till there's no camera rolling. No, I'm joking. No, Brian's doing very well. So how many more to go, Brian?
Oh, we've got 19 more to go.
Well, no, some of them you know already. Red bush, willow, I should hope.
Yes.
Leadwood, I should hope.
Yes, absolutely.
What else is there? Oh, there's Sibirana you haven't done yet.
No, I haven't done any Sibiranas.
Nilogica you haven't done yet.
I've done the... you said it today. You actually pointed it out to Charles and I. It was the zebrawood.
Dalbergia.
Menaloxen. Very peculiar name for a peculiar plant.
Yes, a very peculiar plant that likes giving us flat tires. Brian's going to put about more flat tires. No, we haven't got too bad of flat tires, just a lot of... we've got some slow punctures. We are hoping that we're going to be able to go get some stuff from the motor shop, I suppose, the spare parts shop, because we are going to need to start fixing things quite soon.
Absolutely. Hopefully we don't get...
Okay.
How's everybody feeling on my work?
Well, I'm reading here. Well done, Brian. Excellent, Brian. Good job, Brian. Go, Brian, go. Doing a great job.
Thank you.
You did really well, Brian. Good job, Brian. Nice job, Brian, considering how busy you guys have been.
Yeah, I do get very nervous when I get put on the spot, so please forgive me if my speech is a bit lagged or I do forget some things. I have been practicing, I promise. Over the last 2-3 days, I've been nailing down these trees. I just get a little bit fluttered.
Yes. I need my stick. Maybe that'll help.
You have the...
but I feel this might do irreparable damage. So I need something a bit lighter. There's just thorns. Just to... Well, thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you, Brent.
And, we will see you on Friday, I suppose.
Yeah, hopefully we get some more cool sightings.
Yes, so 3 more trees on Friday, though.
Oh, coming right up, sir.
Good man.
Cheers, everybody.
Okay. Let me get back to my... So before we go on anymore, I see we've got a couple of questions that I'd like to address here. First one was from Applehead Rob. Will Mabai share her territory with her daughters? Will you be naming her cubs, and what do the names Mabai and Impi mean? So, unfortunately, not Mabai will not be sharing her territory with her daughters. They are part of the Cheetah range expansion program, and when they get a bit older, they'll be moved into another reserve so they can continue and start breeding and increase the genetics there. When they do go, we will probably get another female cheetah, or possibly 2, that will come here. So it is part of a range expansion program. So these cheetahs will be moved from time to time all over the place. They've got a good genetics with Mabai and Impi. And Mabai means elegant in Spedi, which is one of the local languages close to here. So elegant. And Impi means warrior in Zulu, and he is named that. We named him that because he comes from Zululand, from Pinda Private Game Reserve, where I spent a fair bit of my childhood. So that's where their names come from. And let me see, I saw another one I wanted to... Applehead Rob, are there honey badgers, pangolins, or other types of hyenas in our reserve? And I also saw someone else asked about the hyenas. I can't see who it was now. Redstone Prime. So yes, we do have pangolins. We do have honey badgers. Where's that question gone now? And we do have 2 species of hyena. Of course, the spotted hyena that most people are familiar with. and brown hyena. And it's quite unique in this part of the world to have both. Generally, in this part of the world, spotted hyena are by far the more dominant, even here. But yes, we are lucky enough to have both brown and spotted hyena here. And of course, honey badgers are quite common. Pangolins, relatively common, but they are very difficult to find. Pam, do I have any formal education, or did I learn this all growing up in safari lodges and a love for the bush and wildlife? I have no formal education in wildlife or safaris. I learnt on the go, so to speak, and I've had incredible teachers over the years. My dad, Mark Tennant, and various different amazing humans. David, who's a half bushman, half Indabele tracker, I spent a lot of time with when I was a teenager in northern Botswana. Glass Maramani at Singita Labombo is possibly the best tracker I've ever worked with anywhere in Africa, and lots of different people. I've been very, very, very lucky with well, I consider it formal education on the ground, so to speak, and then the rest of the stuff just learning myself as I go along. So Jordan, perhaps out of context, so it doesn't need an answer, but I'm wondering if you see much of the movement of the leopard from Kapama into Rietspraat. As far as we know, we have one male. He's now the dominant male in the northeast, but he does go through into the Blue Canyon Game Reserve as well. His name is Shivati, and he has come through from Kapama. The horseshoe male, which is our male leopard, sort of on the northwestern side of the reserve, we actually recently found out that he originally comes from Thorny Bush. So other than that, the females in that, we're not quite sure of their lineage and origin just yet. So Mars, is there a central service that tracks genetics for closed reserves or and for all species, or different admin for different species? It completely depends, Mars. So the Endangered Wildlife Trust in South Africa does a lot of the wild dog, cheetah reintroductions and range expansion projects. So they keep a close eye on all of that stuff. Misty Stokes, striped hyenas. The striped hyenas range from the Maasai steppe in Tanzania, which is to the east of the Mara. I've seen striped hyenas on the eastern sides of the Mara near Sekanani and that area, but generally they prefer a bit drier. So from the east there through all the way up on the east coast of Africa and through into Asia and even to India, striped hyenas. Yes. France, how far are we from, are you guys close to Ngala's and beyond? We're about 55 kilometers, and they're to the east of us, well, southeast of us. Annie, yes, I did go to an incredible private school. I went to Hilton College, although I don't think many of the teachers will have considered my time there to be worthwhile. School and I weren't the best of friends, let's just leave it at that. Betty, what did our president say last night? He was just talking about how to keep people safe and that. There's another speech tomorrow that we'll be finding more information. Liz, I do not have any pictures of striped hyenas close by. They're on a hard drive somewhere, but I will try find one of my old pictures of striped hyenas. How many clans are on our reserve? As far as you know, just one at the moment with the spotted hyenas, Redstone Prime. Okay, guys, so of course today is Earth Day, and Earth Day is, I think it's the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. Actually, I've got some little thingies here, and it was initially started in America about trying to conserve and protect what was remaining. And of course, it's been a bit of a whirlwind. It's probably 50 years since the founding of Earth Day, and with climate change and the ozone fear. When was the ozone layer scare? The 90s. And as I think we're learning a lot as more data and stuff comes in, and of course with the COVID virus spreading through the world, it has had a big impact, and in some ways a lot of the global emissions and whatnot are down, and there has been sightings of some wildlife in areas where they haven't been recorded for a while. Or I think quite a lot of those sightings is that the animals are generally just a little bit more skittish and nervous and are moving around at times when people aren't. But now with no people, it seems to be like they're moving around a bit more. Now, the Cape leopards are a great example of that. They've been spotted in all sorts of places in and around towns over the last little while, even just outside Stellenbosch, where Wium's folks live. And I was just going to have a quick look here. Now, one of the more interesting things is that how many countries are in the world? I can't actually remember. Wium's going to check for me quickly, but only 195. Stop. Wium has got a picture of a striped hyena. Before I carry on quickly, for someone who was asking about a picture of a striped hyena. There we go. There's a striped hyena. There we go. Thank you very much, Wium. Now I've lost my train of thought. That striped hyena just threw me there. What were we talking about? Yes. Only 195 countries signed the Paris Accords in 2015 to radically reduce carbon emissions. Now, the biggest problem with a lot of that... Yeah, so the biggest problem with that is a lot of the countries that haven't signed that accord are often the biggest emitters. And I know this might be a bit of one to say, because I know a lot of our dear fans are in the US. But in terms of adhering to global standards and whatnot, the US is probably one of the worst in terms of agreeing to a lot of those things. So it's a really complicated one. And it's a much bigger and deeper discussion, and that's the one good thing about things like Earth Day, and it makes people talk about things that they don't want to. I'm always very nervous to point fingers and jump on a high horse until I have all my facts absolutely correct. And as I said, a lot of the stuff is learning, and a lot of the real implications of climate change are only going to be visible in 20 or 30 years' time. And I think it is very, very irresponsible to... I'm trying to think how to word this correctly. It's very irresponsible to jump to conclusions without doing your research. Now, if we look at the Earth has been hotter, it's been colder, it's been wetter, it's been drier in its 4.2 billion years or 4.4 billion years that it's been around. So yes, but the one thing that is not up for debate is that we are having an effect, and it is a negative effect. However, human beings might just be a blimp in the history of the Earth. We've only been around in our current form for at most 500,000 years, so it's difficult to call us a successful species yet. And if you term survival survival as success and endurance as success, actually I'll ask you guys, what animal or plant is the only successful species in the history of the Earth? If you deem survival as success, we've only been around for, as I say, at most 500,000 years. Impala have been around for 1.6 million years in current form, and crocodiles in current form now, crocodile only about 8 or 10 million years. So it's an interesting one. There we go. We've got some comments coming in. There we go. Just waiting to see here. Yeah, so Someone says China's getting cleaner. The US is steeped in corporate greed. Now, oh, there we go. Here come the guesses. Conifer trees, no. Shark, no. Croc, no. Mosquito, no. Cockroach, no. It is a crustacean, no. It is. I'll give you a bit of a hint. It is definitely a plant. But I'm not going to give you any more of a hint there. So I said, I think instead of going around trying to force people to change and or try and make big changes, I think what I'd like for Earth Day is for every individual or every family to do their part. Now, if everyone just does a little bit differently, thinks a little bit before you use a plastic bag, or rather use a paper bag, all those type of things, it will make a difference if everyone just does it. Amoebas, no. Dragonfly, no. Palm fern, no. It's definitely not the eternal. Cockroach, firebird, moss, no. Wium says lichen. Wium is not right either. Shh, Casey making noise from the room there. I hope, could you hear that? Wium? Kitty Kitty Bang Bang says cannabis. Definitely not. Thank you, Nunya. Jordan, I completely agree. How do you explain that to someone in the depths of poverty? Don't use plastic. Don't buy only organic. Don't buy GMO. All that type of stuff. And as I said, that's why I think is if everyone just does their part, and those who are able to, it'll make a big difference. And in doing that, the things that are available will become better and whatnot. If it's not, at the moment, it's just too easy to get bad stuff for plastic or whatnot. So if there is a general trend towards the haves being a little bit more responsible, it means that everything will probably become a bit better. There we go, Danny Adelaide, algae, indeed. It is indeed algae. It is actually Spirogyra or blue-green algae. And that's right, the Earth's 4.5 billion years, and the oldest recorded fossil of Spirogyra is about 4.2 billion years old. So if survival is your success, what's the word I'm looking for? Your barometer. Thank you, Wium. If survival is your Charles, thank you, Charles. Wium says he doesn't know big words like that. Anyway, so if survival is your barometer, and then success is the survival, blue-green algae, 4.2 billion years, unchanged. Oh, Danny heard Casey shouting. Thanks, Casey. Casey, you cheat.
Yeah, you Googled.
Yeah, I think Casey Googled. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, you deleted.
Cookie, blue-green algae is not toxic as far as I'm aware. No, definitely not toxic. I think some people even eat it. There's been lots of different studies trying to use algae for fuel and all sorts of stuff, but it is quite an interesting one. Now, as I said, I unfortunately have not done my homework on a lot of the climate change stuff. And as I said, a lot of the climate change stuff, I don't think the information we're getting now is going to be relevant for quite some time. And of course, it is a vicious circle when it comes to a lot of these things, because yes, we definitely are having a negative effect, and we definitely do need to change our ways, but also making people hysterical and scared, and basically it's pandering for funding as well is another dangerous thing that happens. So as I said, it's a very complicated subject. But yes, Earth Day, a very important day, just to get people talking about these issues. Now VM tells me we have an insert, so let's have a look at what the guys have got. So there we go. Just some scenes from all around the world, and we need to be able to sort of live in harmony with the earth, but also we need to look after people, which is quite a complicated thing, because people need things. So possibly we just need to need less, is probably the best view. Less is more. I see some people are saying that eat plants, not meat. Well, that's not necessarily true either. Soy is takes up a huge amount of space, and one of the things with certain of those vegetable plants is that they are single species. There are no bees. There's just soy. There's no bees. There's no bugs. There's no insects. There's no mice. There's no birds. However, when you have cows, you have dung beetles, and you have... so, again, there's no one correct answer, and it's a far more complicated thing than saying, oh no, we mustn't eat meat, or no, we must only eat this plant, or no, we mustn't do this, or we mustn't drive a car, we mustn't get on an aeroplane. As I said, and it's very, very easy for people to get onto a high horse and not listen to other people's opinions. So I think before we chastise each other, just everyone try be a little bit better. Think about what you're doing if you are lucky enough to be in the situation to be able to. Okay, Julie. Well, happy birthday, Julie! If you're sharing Earth Day with your birthday. Oh, that was not on purpose either. Earth Day with your birthday. Yeah, so it is an absolutely fascinating thing, and one of the most important little creatures out in the bush that most people would never want to have come visit their home, and that's me included, are termites, and they are really, really important in terms of nitrogen fixing in the soil. But we've got termites that are getting ready for winter here at the moment, and we managed to capture some busy getting ready for winter, and I'm going to explain how shortly. So here we go, and we've got all these thousands of little Micromydes termites, and they're busy closing up one of the vents on their termite mound. Now, as we are moving into our winter months and it's getting colder, the termites are closing that up to try keep the optimum temperature. Why can't I speak this evening? Optimal, thank you. The optimal temperature for growing fungus, which they grow in their mounds, which, if I remember correctly, is around 33 degrees Celsius. So they will open and close vents to try keep that temperature exactly. So at the moment, as we're moving into winter, they're going to keep closing those vents. They don't want any fresh air coming in, and when the summer comes, they'll start opening up those vents to let cooler air in. So very, very, very cool little sighting we had yesterday while we were very close to the female cheetah. Now, of course, let's have a look. We've got a few more questions. We can definitely learn from termites. Kitty kitty bang bang, electric cars rely on electricity which is made from fossil fuel. Yes, I said, indeed, there's a lot of different things that are going to be, as the world develops and as we develop as human beings, that we will probably, hopefully, find alternative sources of energy, and necessity is the mother of invention. But again, it's been wonderful having you all here for this Wednesday night Animal World Live, and a very special thank you to Lead Lenser, making sure I don't get eaten by a lion or stalked by a giraffe, which we heard a little bit earlier, but they seem to have moved off, and providing all the lovely lighting around us. Oh, that's warm. That torch is very strong. And of course, to the Steinbach family for letting us be here. Our patrons who make it possible for us to bring you these live shows and stories like The Tale of Two Mothers. And everyone who's donated on Super Chat, thank you very much. We appreciate your continued support. And of course, what would it be without another little teaser for The Tale of Two Mothers? Good night. Bye.